I use Nearpod in my classroom, and I like it because it gives me instant feedback. The kids love being engaged with it. It keeps them on point, and when you do it a live session, you have the students at your pace and they're completely engaged. When you finish, they get you can give them their results back, and one of the best things that I like is that you can have it send you a report of a PDF, and I then take that PDF and upload it into Seesaw so that the parents can see exactly what the questions were, what their students did, and then they can also ask me on Dojo for the code, and then they can go back and do the Nearpod with their students again, and it just reinforces what I was doing in class, and it lets me know exactly who I need to target for small group. So we love the technology that gives us that instant feedback as opposed to when you had to do it all by paper pencil and grade it all. The technology really has helped us with that instant feedback to get our small groups going.
Digital assessment gives us the opportunity to get real-time feedback on what our students' strengths and weaknesses are. Using programs like Edmodo, we can see by question or by skill which students are having difficulty and adjust our teaching to accommodate that.
Two of the tools that we've been using a lot for assessment have been Nearpod and Seesaw. Nearpod's been great, especially as a whole group function, because you can then throw things up to the big screen and kids can kind of see that, or straight to their iPads, and they can see what is a good example, what can we do to make this example stronger. So especially when I'm doing a formative assessment to kind of see where they're at, and how they're doing, what they already know on a topic, we can kind of stop and do a quick Nearpod, even if it's something as simple as blank slides where they can just draw on them. I ask them to show me something. This has been fabulous with math exemplars, which is something we're doing a lot of right now. And so I'll throw one where everybody can see it, push it to all their iPads, or use the Apple TV to throw it on the big screen, and ask the kids, what can we do to make this example better, this answer better? What can we add to it to make it a little stronger? Or what is fabulous about this answer? I put it up and I say, is this a good one or a not so good one we can kind of strengthen? And if they say it's a good one, well, why? Why is it good? And that's something that was a little bit harder if I had pieces of paper that the kids were working on to hold it up. We could have done the document camera with it, but not all the kids could see it up close. So having it pushed to their iPad screen has been an awesome tool for that with Nearpod. I also like that I can then pull back up their answers later and see it. I actually did it during our technology night with a little quiz for the parents, so I could see what the parents' responses were later. So it's not just something that we do and we're done with. I can go back to that data later. With Seesaw, my favorite use of that has been that, one, the kids can access it independently. They don't need my help. We've been doing it. They can go in, and there's a lot of different ways that they can go in there and choose to answer things. So they can draw pictures, they can record themselves. I even have, there's a typing function on there, and so some of my kids have really been drawn to that. I like to use that during center time especially, because in the past, unless I had little pieces of paper in every center where the kids could write down their little answers and then they could put it in the little basket, and I had to flip through all these papers. Now all their responses are kept digitally, so I don't have all these papers leafing about. I can have parents look at it at the same time I still have the data, whereas in the past I'd have to photocopy that paper, keep a copy in their folder, and then send a copy home if I wanted to share things with the parents. I don't have to do that. Parents can real time see it on their news feed. I can see it. I can still keep it. We can reference it during conferences and show the child's strengths or weaknesses as they work independently. And I like that we can do things such as videos. So when I'm doing one of my most favorite assessments, counting to 100, the kids can count, and then I can kind of listen to it later. I don't have to do it right that second. I don't have to have my assistant sitting there listening to, all 50 kids count one day. We can record it, and then when we have the time when the kids are in a special, I can then use that time more efficiently. Instead of, if I'm caught up on my lesson plans, I can then listen to the kids count without disrupting anything. So I love the flexibility that Seesaw provides with something like that, where we can share, where I can look at resources later, and the kids can really document what they're doing independently in learning centers. So that's been one of our favorites.
I use several different digital assessment tools, including Kahoot, Socrative, Nearpod, Read Theory, and 10 Marks. The one that my children like the best, I think, is Kahoot, because it actively involves them. I like it because I can use it as a pre-assessment tool, so I can know exactly where they're at before I start teaching a lesson, and then I can begin to teach towards that particular skill. I can also assess formatively as we are moving ahead to see which children are understanding the concepts and which ones still need a little bit of help and which ones have it and can move on to something else. One of the programs that I like to use also is Socrative, because in Socrative I get that data immediately, and I can look at it and do the same thing, assess. What am I doing? What do I need to do? What do I need to teach? What is already covered? When it comes to 10 marks, one of our favorite parts of 10 marks is using the jam sessions, because as a class, when we use it as a class, what happens is we are able to look at immediately, do I know this particular skill? I can look at it as a class, and they want to look at it individually, and that helps me to know what I need to reteach. These tools, the immediate feedback from these tools is so different from what the traditional feedback has been. In the past, you would have to pass out papers and collect them and then correct them and then put your data somewhere else. Here, it's immediate. I can actually pull a group as soon as we finish doing this. So I really enjoy using these tools and look forward to using them in the future.
Okay, so in my digital learning classroom, some of the biggest benefits that I see are I'm able to quickly and informally assess student work, and that's on an immediate basis. I can quickly gauge where my students are at. We use programs like Nearpod, Quizzes, Socrative, Today's Meet, Padlet, Edmodo to quickly gauge student understanding. And from that data that I get instantaneously, I'm able to pull small groups, I'm able to quickly reassess, I'm able to quickly grow skills based off that data that I'm getting back right away. But one of the other things that I really, really love about a digital learning environment and a digital classroom is that students are engaged all the time. Whether they are struggling learners or not, students want to participate, they want to do well, and what I found is that often students don't even realize that they're being assessed. So through these programs and through the classroom environment and through digital learning, they are always wanting to learn in the environment that we've created here at Tallwood. Additionally, I am a new educator, so I haven't taught really the traditional way, but I know now, learning the traditional way, I could never go back and teach the traditional way after teaching in a digital learning environment, because the engagement that my students have every day coming in and wanting to learn the way that I teach them is amazing. They love it and I love it, and it's awesome.